Hello and welcome to Unleash Your Inner Goddess, a podcast by me, Sarah Joyce Hindle. So, last week I didn't upload a podcast episode, and those with an eagle eye or who routinely listen on Thursdays might have noticed. And it wasn't because I forgot or I couldn't be bothered or, I didn't have anything else to say. And those who know me or have worked with me before will know that that's really the case. I like to talk. I was actually needed elsewhere for the majority of last week. And I won't share the details as it's not for me to say, but a close friend required me to be there for her family for much of last week and part of the week before. And I take my role of best friend extremely seriously. And I live with the value of family first and business second. And this friend is part of the family that I chose for myself. So when I was needed last week, I cancelled 90% of my work week with literally the click of my fingers. Well, not quite, but I rescheduled calls and I moved things about within about an hour. And then I was fully present for my friend. So this meant not getting a podcast episode sorted. I had penned in the whole of Tuesday to write, record and edit 6 podcast episodes. I had all the titles and the themes. I just wanted to get them all done in one go. And I like to batch them where possible, not just for efficiency, but because I get in flow. And I'm on a roll and things go really well. But on Tuesday at 7:20 a.m, I got the call that I was needed. And so the podcast didn't get written. But you know what? I'm here to tell you today that my business won't suffer because I did not release an episode as planned last Thursday. And it won't suffer because I didn't post as much on social media as I intended to. And it certainly won't suffer because I haven't got back to my potential podcast guests. Shameless plug, I am still accepting guests for 2022. If you think you'd be a good fit for coming on the Unleash Your Inner Goddess podcast, send me over your pitch to podcast@sarahjoycehindle.com. I'll pop more details in the show notes. But yeah, let me know. Let me know if we'd be a good fit. Anyway, life happens, okay? Sometimes life happens and things get in the way. Perhaps we aren't as quick with a task as we hope to be and we run behind. Maybe we forgot to post on our stories, or our well-crafted social post just completely tanks and it's tumbleweed. Maybe our kids get sick and we have to go and parent, or you spill water on your laptop and you've got to go deal with that. Whatever it is that happens that gets in the way, your business will survive. You just got to get back on it when you can and do what you can with what you've got. So I wasn't actually planning on putting this episode out today, obviously. I was going to coast through the planned podcast episodes and just continue on. I had that sort of rough draft of what I wanted to talk about. And I have now batch recorded all of those episodes, or I will have done by the time you've listened to this. It's on my list today, that I was going to do last week. But I felt like you needed to hear this. If things don't work out or don't go to plan, take a breath and go again. Don't be beating yourself up and writing yourself off as a failure. Cut yourself some slack. When I cancelled those plans last week, every single person was understanding. And I didn't wake up on Friday to angry messages demanding a podcast episode. That would really be something, huh? And I could have stayed up late and recorded a rushed podcast Wednesday night and done a really mediocre job. But my priorities are looking after myself, to look after my family. And when I do turn my focus to my business and my clients, I give them my all. So I want you to sit with that and think about, what are your priorities? How can you put them first when the unexpected things scupper your plans? And if things do upset the apple cart, tell your clients, tell your followers and your audience. You don't have to give them the whole story, but let them know that you have values and you have to follow what's important right now. And then tell them how or when you'll be showing up and moving forwards. Most people understand when there is an emergency or a family issue, and managing people's expectations eases any other issues that might crop up further down the line. Everyone knows where they stand and everyone feels valued because they know what's going on. And a big value of mine is honesty, so I wanted to be honest with you. But another value of mine is my love of learning. And I've learned that from this experience that perhaps I need to build in a little bit more buffer time between recording the podcast and the episode going live. So not only did things sort of not go to plan last week, my business isn't going to fail, but I also now have data so I can adjust accordingly. So I can give myself a little bit more grace. I can build in some more buffer time. So if things do, upset the apple cart again, I will still choose family first, but I'm not going to be in as much of a pickle as I was last week. And we don't always get it right, and I'm here to share that with you. Do you know, I had 2 days between recording Thursday's episode and it going live, and then things didn't happen. So that's why I'm here today telling you this, so that you can learn from my learnings too. So what is your protocol for when shit hits the fan? Do you know what situations you'd drop everything for and what situations you'd hold up your boundaries for? Because I think you've got to be really clear on that. And this was one of those situations where I drop everything for. Do you even have a clause built into your terms and conditions for if you have to reschedule a meeting last minute or you miss a delivery date for a service? Do you have built-in buffer time, like I mentioned, to give yourself that grace if things don't work out the way you expected or on the timeline that you gave yourself? Do you keep a stock of easy-to-post social media content if your kid is sick and spends the day glued to your side? Or even a quick copy and paste email with all those handy links on if you need to cancel and rearrange things last minute? And probably most importantly, do you have a mantra or a phrase that you can say to keep yourself grounded when things upend you? So I cycle between "this too shall pass," which is a famous phrase whom I can't credit because I can't remember who it is right now. But I also like "even goddesses have to weather the storm sometimes." And my newest one, "you don't get stronger from things being easy." So those are those two that I came up with, and I sort of cycle between those three. I'd love to know what mantra you can come up with, or if you choose to use one of mine, and by all means, please do. I would love for you to share it on Instagram. I'm at Sarah Joyce Hindle, and I'll pop the direct links to my Instagram account in the show notes. I would love for you to let me know, how did this episode resonate with you? What is your mantra? And do you have things in place for when shit hits the fan? So yeah, unexpected episode this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Very off the cuff. I'm now going to go ahead and record the other 6 that I had originally planned to do. So we'll be back on track next week, which is exciting. And yeah, my business hasn't suffered. I've just got back on as and when, and I was able to be there for my friend, which is the most important thing in the world to me, is being there for those who I care about.